Hello everyone, I'm Scott Aubrey with Aubrey Law, and I'm very excited to be here with you today. Aubrey Law is an estate planning law firm located in Eden, Massachusetts, and today I'm going to talk about important factors to consider when choosing a guardian. But before we get started, if you have any questions about what I talk about today, or any questions about estate planning in general, you can go to estateplanmeeting.com and schedule a time to talk with me for free, either on the phone or in person. Again, you can go to estateplanmeeting.com. Choose a time that's convenient for you, and we'll talk on that day. So today's topic is important factors to consider when choosing a guardian for your minor children. Choosing guardian can be one of the most difficult decisions that parents have when they're creating their estate plan. It's a very important decision. It's something people stress over for very good reason, because it's super important. But it's also something that it can impact people's ability to follow through with their estate plan, is that they procrastinate, they have a tough time making the decisions, so they put off doing their estate plan because they just don't know who to choose as the guardian. So what I'm going to try to do today is give you some factors to consider and hopefully make it easier for you to choose a guardian, even though it's a very difficult decision to make. And also something to remember is that once you make your choice for guardian in your will, it's not set in stone. You can go back and review that each year, and if you want to change that person, you can always do a codicil to your will. In that way, you can change your guardian. So it's something that is not set in stone. You can change it anytime you want. So that's something to consider as too, and something it's always a good idea to probably review that on a yearly basis or every couple of years to make sure that person still makes sense and is the right choice. So the first thing to consider is the age of the children, because as if anybody that has children knows that infants and toddlers require a lot of time and energy to raise them. So when you're choosing your guardian, you want to take that into account. Does this person have the stamina? Do they have the ability? Do they have the time and attention that they can give to a toddler? However, with older children, there's other factors to consider. If they're already have friends, they're involved in sports and activities in your area, you want to make sure that the person that you choose your guardian will maybe be able to keep them in the same area, the same school, and that way you have to want to disrupt them as much. They're already going through a difficult time by losing a parent. So anything you can do to make it easier for the transition is something that you want to consider. The next thing to consider is grandparents. I think grandparents are a common choice for people, but there are some factors that you want to take into account with grandparents. The one thing about grandparents is a lot of times they're already involved in raising your children. They may take them to activities, they may babysit on a regular basis, so your children may be familiar with them, have a great relation with them. A lot of times grandparents are retired, so they have a lot of time to dedicate to taking care of your children. They may not be bound, if they're retired, they're not bound by a job where they can easily move to a new place very easily. So those are important things to consider, and the reasons that grandparents can often be a solid choice. The one thing to also consider is the age and health of the grandparents. If they're on the older side or experiencing some health problems, they may not always be a good choice because of those reasons. So it's just something you have to consider, is that grandparents can be a great option, but also just taking into account their age and their health when making a choice. Another option could be is adult children. So if your family has multiple children, and you have children who are adult age and no longer minors, they can be named as guardian to take care of their younger siblings. This can be a good choice, obviously. It keeps the guardian within the family, which the courts like to do. However, there are some factors to consider. One is, is the adult child mature enough to handle that responsibility of taking care of someone else? Also, two is it really fair or a good idea to thrust that adult child into the position of taking care of the younger children? It could impact their ability to build a career. They may be in college at that time, so they may have to drop out of college to take care of their siblings. and also their own development. Is it having all that responsibility at such a young age going to be fair to them and something that they can handle? The other side of that too is that will the younger siblings respect the authority that was given to their older sibling? That's something that you have to consider when you want to name an adult child for the guardian of the younger siblings. Another thing that people like to do, or sometimes that people do, is they want to name a married couple as the guardian for their child. So that would be if you have a brother or sister, and you name your brother and his wife as co-guardians. So you want your brother Tom and his wife Alice to be guardians. I usually advise against people doing this because with the way marriages are today, is that divorce is a very real possibility, unfortunately. So that can create some issues and create some additional issues that down the road, if those two people were getting divorced. And so I think what you really have to consider is when you're naming a couple, are you naming the couple together, or is it really you're naming your brother and also adding his wife in as well, or you're naming your sister and adding her husband as well? So really choose. If it's the one person that's really the driving factor in making that choice, then it probably makes most sense to name just that one person as opposed to a married couple. And then one of the last things to consider is a willingness to serve. This is a huge responsibility that someone would have to be a guardian for your minor children. It's something that you want to make sure that they have the time for, they have the financial well-being to do, and that they share your common values. So you want to probably have conversations with the people you're going to choose as your guardian, saying, we intend to name you as the guardian in our wills for our minor children if something were to happen to us. Are you willing to serve? Are you willing to take on this responsibility? And hopefully they'll be honest with you and give you the honest answer. And if they are willing to serve, then that's great. That won't be an issue. But I also hope that if they're not willing to serve or they have some apprehensions about it, they will let you know as well. So that way you can make your decision if they still make sense to be the guardian for your children. But this is an important decision. These are just a few factors to consider. But hopefully it's something that you can, if you've been pondering or you've been delaying or you're thinking about doing an estate plan and the guardian has been the one that's been holding you up, hopefully this information will help you make that decision. So that's all I have for you today. If you have any questions about what I talked about today, or you want to get started with doing an estate plan, you can go to estateplanmeeting.com and schedule a time to talk with me for free. Again, that's estateplanmeeting.com. If you like this video, please hit the like button. If you can subscribe to it and you want to subscribe to my channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you know someone that could benefit from seeing my video, please pass this along to them or leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer it. Once again, I'm Scott Aubrey with Aubrey Law, and I will talk to you soon.